Hello, BookTube.
Hello, BookTube.
We're back. And this time we have a tag that I saw on Ebooks channel. It's the I am a reader tag, and we're both readers.
We are.
So I thought we'd give it a try. Question number one is, what's the very first book you fell in love with? Do you remember?
The Secret Garden, maybe?
Really?
I loved The Secret Garden as a kid. I read it over and over and over. A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, that's a favorite of a few people I know.
From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basilea Frankweiler.
I came to all these things afterwards as an adult.
No, I was reading from the get-go.
Wow. Oh, I envy that.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Iliad. Sorry. Sounds really poncy, but it's true. I really do love it. I love it like people love their favorite books rather than dutifully, like a classic.
The first book I remember being read to was a book about a pony. And my mother said I used to say the words along with her.
You remember books that were read to you?
Yeah.
Before you could read?
Yeah.
Do the rest of you?
I don't know.
Your memory extends back to the books that you were read to before you read them? Before you were able to make out the words yourself? That's unbelievable.
I don't remember what the pony book was, but I remember the pony book and also the Pokey Little Puppy. My mother used to read me the Pokey Little Puppy. And Blueberries for Sal.
I just got through 15 years of living with the Pokey Little Puppy.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Never thought that would happen. Next one is hardcover or paperback?
Almost always paperback.
Really? Is that economic or preference?
I think preference. I enjoy like the matte covers, and I enjoy the fact that they give a little bit.
I like ebooks. I wish they were an option. I like them more than paperbacks or hardcovers. But if I had to, hardcovers. Just because I love them.
Ebooks are my least favorite because my mind doesn't process them correctly. I can't. I oftentimes have to go back, and you can't go back in an ebook.
So you don't get lost in an ebook?
I don't get lost.
That feeling of getting lost in a book.
I don't get lost in an ebook.
I hear that from a lot of you too. That you don't. There's a wall there that just doesn't happen. And oddly enough, I hear that from people across the demographic spectrum. It's not just old people who feel that way. There are a lot of young people who've emailed me and texted me back when I had a phone, who just can't make the jump. I love them myself. Hardcovers if I had to, because I'm hard on my stuff. So hardcover can take a beating. Let's see here. What's next? How has reading shaped your identity?
Reading is my identity.
I know. I was going to say the same thing. What else would there be? Well, same thing for you as for me. Dogs who don't read.
Dogs and books.
Dogs are the weirdest thing about them. I'm sure you felt this too when you're looking into their eyes or when you're having a long conversation with them. Is that they have no conception of what reading is. This incredibly vital thing in your world, and they have no conception of what it is. So it's a weird disconnect. But yeah, I'm the same way.
Although I feel like they try to understand.
Well, considering how many books some of my dogs have eaten over time,
yes.
You'd think it would get through, but no. Let's see here. What book do you read when you need to be comforted? What's your comfort read? Doesn't have to be a single book. I think we can go with many books or a type of book.
I don't think I have a comfort read.
Oh, come on. Everybody does. Nothing that you go to that just brings a smile to your face? And that you do because it brings a smile to your face? No?
I don't think so.
Wow. I have a lot.
Well, okay, the closest it comes maybe is the Jeeves and Wooster.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Jeeves and Wooster would be for me. The Regency romances. I love Regency romance. The old Signet Regency romances. I love them. Meg. And all of the Meg sequels. Let's see here. Who taught you to be a reader? Or did you do it all on your own? And I know my answer to this. I've said this many times. I had one teacher years and years and years ago who awakened me to books, but I don't think I know your answer.
I'm going to say two things. One was my mom, who read to me constantly when I was a little girl. And she, I think, turned me into someone that read. And then in college, I had a wonderful professor named Laura Lachinska, who taught me what is underneath the words, what is behind the words.
Taught you in a good way.
Yes.
A way that...
Yeah, oh yes. Mm-hmm. So...
That's valuable.
Yes.
A lot of people don't ever get that. It's critical reading.
Critical reading.
A lot of people don't ever get that. A lot of people, even on BookTube, a lot of people just don't do it. Or think that it's a killjoy. That it lessens the enjoyment of reading. Nothing could be further from the truth. But I think that's what you said is key. It has to be done the right way. You have to be introduced to it the right way. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't go anywhere if you're going to misbehave. Little monster. Next one is describe your dream reading lounge.
Mine would be a completely empty room, empty of books, just...
Empty of books?
Yes. Just a nice, comfortable, reclining chair. It would be a very, very super empty room. And...
Why? No distractions?
No distractions. Because what I do is when I'm reading a book, I look around at all the other books on the shelf, and I'm distracted. That's my phone. Just, we're going to let it go.
First time I've ever heard her lady parts sing. BookTube witnesses are first.
All those marriages, and it's true.
I guess you should take that thing on the road.
Sadly. Where were we? Oh, I could get distracted by all the books on the bookshelf that I haven't read.
Really? Even while you're reading?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, I'm the exact opposite. I actually build my dream reading lounges wherever I live. I always have a room or two. Right now I have two. I have this little corner of this room, and I have the book room in the other room that's entirely books. I like to be surrounded by them when I'm reading. I wouldn't a room without them, except just the one I'm reading. I like that.
No.
And you need dogs.
But,
yes.
Oh God, yes. There would be dogs.
What about natural light? Do you prefer natural light or maybe candlelight or lamplight?
Lamplight, I think.
Yeah.
Lit from behind.
And of course, I'm sure that you would agree that the ideal thing is when it's horrible outside.
Yes, I would like a big side window with constant rain.
It's
outside.
Chilly and rainy here in Boston. It's a perfect reading day. Mm-hmm. And then the last question of the I am a reader tag. What book changed the way you act or see the world?
Oh God, you go first because this is a tough one.
Well, I've mentioned one before. I think every book does, incrementally. But one that it happens all the time in every reading season. One that was really big that I remember because it was just, it removed a blind spot of mine was Dune. When I read it the first time, when it first came out, because on the planet Dune, water is precious. There's none of it. And all of a sudden, I remember vividly when I finished the book, all of a sudden, running the tap water was something I paid attention to. I suddenly noticed how much water do you waste? How much water does everybody else waste? But since then, it's just gone on and on. No matter what, in every season, there's a book. I read one about the dark web. All of a sudden, I was thinking about the internet that I was surfing every day in a completely different way. I read a great book called Thermonuclear Monarchy about thermonuclear weapons in the world, and it changed what I think about this thing that we try so hard to forget in daily life, which is that we have planet-killing weapons everywhere that for some miracle have never gone off. And just recently, I meant to mention this to you, that just recently a book called The Water Will Rise, or The Water Will Come, which is about the post-flooding world that is coming. The author does not spend much time in his book gaming out scenarios on how to stop it. Instead, the whole book is about what's going to happen when it happens. He points out that at the end of the last ice age, the water levels on Earth were 100 feet higher than they are today. 100 feet higher. at the end of the last ice age, when the polar ice caps were very small. And the polar ice caps are right now rapidly retreating towards that size or smaller. And what happens to the world if the water rises 100 feet from where it is right now? That's just astonishing to me.
Well, okay, so along that line, there was the book, was it The World Without Us?
Oh, The World Without Us, yes, yes.
And
so that was one for you?
Well, that made me that made me pay attention more to plastic.
Plastic, yes. It's a great book. If those of you who don't know, it's a book that came out about 10 years ago now, in which the author imagines a scenario in which suddenly all humans disappear across the face of the earth. Just no great dying, no influenza, no nothing like that. Just they're vanished. They're gone. And what would happen? What would happen on the first day after that? What would happen on the first week after that? A month later? A year later? And it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And you're right. Plastic plays a big part.
Right.
Lots of other things, too.
Because I remember one of the things that I didn't realize was in shampoo, there are like little balls of plastic, little bubble, or in facial soap, where exfoliating soap, that then go into, and they're so small we don't think of them.
What happens to them? I don't remember that part.
They go into the oceans.
Ugh. One little detail that I remember from that book is that cockroaches would die. This idea that cockroaches will survive a thermonuclear war is total myth. Cockroaches are tropical insects. They live in profusion among us in our buildings because we heat our buildings. And we didn't do that. If that stopped, they would retreat or die. That's almost be worth it. And the one problem that I had with The World Without Us, when I wrote, if I remember, I'll leave my review down below. The one problem that I had is that the author is very optimistic about the world's nuclear power plants and nuclear submarines, saying that they would create nuclear hotspots, but nothing planet-killing. And I don't see the reasoning behind that. A lot of these things have human deadman switches. If they're not tended by humans, they go into meltdown. And I think maybe the author wasn't quite up on what a full-scale nuclear meltdown would be like. maybe he just wasn't really thinking about that. But one way or another, that's another perfect example of the kind of book where you read it and it's a life-changing lesson. You start thinking about the world differently. I would like to think that that's a large part of reading just in general, right? You were just telling me today that you wanted me to get you a book that would teach you something.
Yes.
It's a thrilling feeling.
So BookTube, in the comments, I would like you to list books that will make me smarter. So books... Shut up, Steve.
You don't get to hijack my comments, Phil. It's for them telling me how sexy I am. Not for them. Just barges into my comments, Phil. Not so much as a buy you or leave.
Books that will teach something, either history or science or some aspect of the world.
But be sure to mention how sexy I am while you're at it.
Yeah, you can mention how sexy he is.
Jeez,
I'll allow you that.
Well, we're going to sign off for now, but I think we're going to do another video. A mail haul! But we'll see you soon.
Bye, BookTube.
Thank you, BookTube.